All right, Nancy, you want to pull your microphone up?
It's time.
Yeah.
All right. Today is the 13th of November. It is now 6 o'clock and I'm calling the meeting to order. The flag salute will be led by Councilwoman Ball Miller.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great.
Pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, adequate and electronic notice of this meeting has been provided by posting on the bulletin board in the Beach Haven Municipal Building, on the borough website, and mailing the same to the Beach Haven Times, the Asbury Park Press, and the Press of Atlantic City. Mr. Batista.
Here.
Mrs. Ball Miller.
Here.
Ms. Lambert.
Here.
Ms. Snyder.
Here.
Mayor Davis.
Here.
Before I get into the borough manager's report, I would just like to read a press release that was put out today by the Long Beach Island Health Department. On November 2nd, 2023, our department tragically lost our dear friend, colleague, and fellow civil servant, Mr. Eugene Mulgrew. He was a dedicated and devoted family man. Love for his wife and children was always apparent. His tenure in the public health field goes back 46 years, starting in 1976 with the Ringwood Health Department. He then moved south in 1978, began employment with the Atlantic City Health Department, rising through the ranks to Atlantic City to Chief Environmental Health Inspector. Mr. Mulgrew has been with our health department since 1982, when it just included Long Beach Township. Later in 1986, the Long Beach Island Health Department formed, and he served in the capacity of Senior Environmental Health Specialist. Upon retiring from his full-time position in 2004, he then later supported us as a seasonal part-time health inspector for Long Beach Island, just completing his 18th summer. Having a highly qualified and experienced individual is essential to deliver the health department's mission and responsibilities in the high season of the summer. He's always here to lend a hand. Even off-season, post-Hurricane Sandy, he donated his time. Just one of many instances, he went above and beyond. First and foremost, Gino, as many affectionately referred to him as, was a people person. He was so adept, so quick to learn your name, remember it, and make you feel comfortable in his presence. He made it seem effortless to get to know anyone, almost regardless of circumstances, and often made a connection to the countless members of our community he served. As a public health regulatory officer, he was a consummate professional, not only seeking remedy, but in a manner that was consistent with both the respect of the law and individuals subject to any action. It was that unwavering resolve that enabled him to be one of the most proficient public health professionals in our field. Mr. Mulgrew trained and mentored many public health professionals in the field today, including 2 currently serving in the department. To say you were mentored by Mr. Mulgrew was to know that you were trained from the best and were provided with both the knowledge and perspective to be successful. His personality and people skills were also displayed when he interacted with local, county, and state officials to seek not only department matter inquiries, but community members' concerns as well. His ability to get the answers, interpretations, and facts of the matter correct were his unwavering commitment. He was highly respected by his peers and close colleagues. There will likely be many reading this, following this that devastating news, that were quick to recall him, and that is the reflection of him. He cared about you. The department will forever remember his warm, generous spirit. We offer our deepest condolences to the family and loved ones, as we ask the public to respect the privacy of any family, friends, and co-workers of the deceased. I know myself and Mary Claire worked closely with Gene, and we enjoyed every moment of it. Our condolences. Also, a deep and sincere, heartfelt condolences to Sherry Bowler and her brother Scott for the loss of their father, Bob Wayner, on Friday, November 10th, 2023. He was 87 and a resident of Staten Island. And our hearts and thoughts go out to you. Thank you.
Mayor, can we offer just one moment of silence for Eugene and his wife, please?
Certainly.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Cash receipts in the current fund account for the period of October 1st through October 31st were $3,370,008.40. Cash disbursements in the current fund account for the month of October 2023 totaled $3,748,618.90. Cash receipts in the water utility account for the period of October 1st to October 31st were $15,272.76. Cash disbursements in the water utility account for the month of October totaled $31,485.34. Cash receipts in the sewer utility account for this period were $42,369.28. And cash disbursements from the sewer utility account for this month, October 2023, totaled $251,257.25, submitted by our treasurer, Shari Bowler.
Thank you.
I have minutes for approval, the October 10th, 2023 regular meeting minutes without formal reading.
Would somebody like to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I abstain. I wasn't here. I
Thank
abstained.
you. All right.
Okay.
Ordinance 2023-28. An ordinance of the Borough of Beach Haven adopting the amended redevelopment plan for Block 166.02, Lot 3, and Block 170, Lot 2, within the Borough of Beach Haven, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, to amend a redevelopment plan for the former Brennan's and Foster's sites. Final reading.
This is final reason, so it will be open to public comment, but I'd like Emily to just come forward and just explain a few things to make sure that everybody knows exactly what's happening here.
Okay. If you may recall, there was a redevelopment plan adopted previously for these sites that was a combined plan, meaning that the projects had to move forward simultaneously as one project that was also going to be providing affordable housing. Once that plan was adopted, the parties, the borough and the developer were not able to come to terms on a redevelopment agreement, which was a critical piece of moving forward with those projects. Without a redevelopment agreement, the redeveloper couldn't go to the land use board for any approvals under that zoning that was established through the original redevelopment plan. And therefore, there were negotiations back and forth in an attempt really to lessen the intensity of the project and also to retain the commercial nature of the Foster site and keep something like Foster's in place in Beach Haven and to ensure that the business district remained a strong and vibrant business district with commercial on that corner and also at the Brennan site in some fashion. So this plan was developed with that in mind. Now, the Foster side of the street, the block 166, 0.03, I mean, sorry, 0.02 lot 3. The zoning under this redevelopment plan will be called superseding zoning, meaning it replaces the underlying zoning. And the owner of the property who would like to continue the use in the same fashion that Foster's utilized the property with a delicatessen kind of use, cafe, something along those same lines, will be permitted to do so without having to go to the land use board with an we'll be able to go to the land use board without having to get a redevelopment agreement with this council. And that's because it's superseding zoning. It is removing the ability of anybody to develop that site as strictly residential.
And I think that we want to make that very clear that everybody understands that.
Yes.
That if the people that are planning on buying it now decide to sell it, whoever buys it from them cannot put a single family house there.
Correct.
It has to be either retail or mixed use.
Correct. And even in the event that it changes from what it initially is proposed under this plan, this zoning, they will have to come to council and present their change to council before they can move forward at the land use board. So that's block 166.02 lot 3.
And they're keeping the original building.
They must keep the original building in order to be able to have 2 units upstairs. And at the moment, I haven't seen that plan, but the intention is to expand a seating area. I believe remove one part of the interior area to make an open patio area. There will be parking on site, not on the street, according to the concept plan that's part of the redevelopment plan. So any plan that gets presented has to be substantially consistent with that, and get presented to the land use board for any approvals that they might need. They don't circumvent land use board through adoption of this redevelopment plan. The only thing that they will not be required to do is enter into a redevelopment agreement with Borough Council, but there are a lot of restrictions on their use of the property through adoption of this redevelopment plan. Most importantly being that residential is no longer an option under the plan. With regard to the Brennan site, block 170 lot 2, that is called an overlay zoning, which means that the proposed zoning in this plan cannot be implemented by the redeveloper unless and until a redevelopment agreement is authorized by mayor and council. And so we're in the process of negotiating that agreement with them. And as I said at the beginning, the reason why we're here again for an amendment to this plan is because we couldn't come to terms with the redeveloper for the prior plan. There was too big a gap between what Borough Council needed and what the redeveloper needed. So we reworked, and if we come to terms and enter into a redevelopment agreement, then the redeveloper will then have to submit a site plan application to the land use board. And we'll have to comply with the requirements of not only the redevelopment plan, the bulk standards and design standards, but also we'll have to comply with any requirements that are set forth in the contract and the redevelopment agreement that they enter into with mayor and council.
That being said, I'm opening the floor to public comment, and you can also, if any of you have a question, you can address to Emily, since she's here. Yes, come forward.
Hi, we're actually people that are buying.
What?
We're the people that are going to be buying fosters.
You really need to come up to the microphone because this should be recorded.
State your name and address for the record. Yeah.
Hi, I'm
Yes, so- Yeah,
Kristen Brown. My husband Sean Myatt. It's really loud. We had been trying to save fosters, if you will, for the past, I would say, 2 years from Michael Pagnotta, who his intention was to knock down both and make more
right.
condos. I'm a longtime LBIer. We currently have a restaurant in Long Beach Township. So we're the people that Emily's speaking of. She's been so helpful because I'm very versed with Long Beach Township, but we have no idea about Beach Haven rules and regulations. And last time, I guess there was a meeting, Michael had come here unbeknownst to us, kind of, I don't want to say behind our back, but we didn't know that was happening.
Michael
Pagnotta.
Pagnotta.
And we didn't know that was happening. So we would have certainly been here if we knew that he was going to kind of slide that in without us knowing about it. And we had a lot of questions. So within our contract, and if I'm correct, Sean, within our contract with him, which is yet to be signed, there's a couple things that he's supposed to be doing in light of us purchasing it. We are looking to save the building. We're looking to make it a restaurant. We're looking to make it a market, and just kind of blend in with the fabric of Beach Haven, which is what we did in Haven Beach. We've been there for 16 years. It's a great neighborhood restaurant. That's what our goal is. I don't know, our seating, I think, was supposed to be in this adoption of it, but it was left out because.
Well, I spoke with Frank Little with regard to the seating, and there's fire codes, and then if you can adequately accommodate the seats and ingress egress on your site, which I explained to Sean, then you can have that seating. But if you are squeezing tables in and it's not safe, then
Correct.
you'll be denied.
Agreed.
So that's
Agreed.
the only caveat. So it doesn't need to be addressed in the redevelopment plan because it's not something that you aren't already permitted to have. And so anything that's not addressed is pursuant to borough code
Okay,
that already exists. And so that's,
so that should just be an easy kind of,
mhm.
we're
If
going
you
by
can
the
fit the number of
township.
seats, yeah,
Yeah.
if you could fit the number of seats you're looking for
Perfect.
through an architectural plan, when you're at the joint land use board, then you'll get approval for that. If you can't, like I said, you have to have safe operation, ingress,
Absolutely.
egress.
Yeah, no, we
Um,
totally understand that.
Then
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
the
and if it
difference.
just, it's gonna fit into the code, that's just
Yeah,
normal
mhm, and that's what gets
procedure.
applied.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
great,
Mhm.
great. So that's us. That's me. This is Sean. And
Well, I
good
would
luck.
like to say we're very excited and
Yeah,
hope
too.
this happens. You
Yeah.
run a wonderful restaurant. I think most of us have eaten there and
Oh, good.
enjoyed it.
Oh, fantastic.
And
Thank you.
I think it'd be a great addition to the
I do too. We want to, we love I love old Long Beach Island. I mean, that's where I grew up and I've been here for so long and there's so much change that we're really trying to keep specific buildings that are, I think, iconic. And that's one of the ones that, I always rode my bike past that on the way to Bay Village. So, you know what I mean? It's just been here forever. So we're not changing the outside. We're not changing any of the exterior. Maybe the color, make it a little lighter. But aesthetically, it's going to be the same. The side patio is going to be the same. The indoor, we're going to make a market on one side and have, fresh foods and pies and fruits and vegetables. And on the other side, we're going to have indoor and outdoor seating. So, and that's what we're looking to do. I think it would be a nice complement to Beach Haven.
Yes, I do too.
I agree.
So
Thank
that's-
you.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much.
Good luck.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. Would anybody else like to, does anybody on Zoom want to speak? Is there anybody on Zoom?
John.
We don't see any hands up right now. Anyone on Zoom that wishes to be heard for any of the public hearings this
Okay,
evening, to
John,
raise an electronic
come forward
hand.
then.
Thank you.
John Halprin, 319 Fairview Avenue, Beach Haven. I was preparing for some remarks, not knowing that the owner was going to be here. So she sort of took away some of my thunder, but I think this is a win-win for Beach Haven. I support this 100%. We talked about trying to keep commercial. We're keeping it commercial. We talked about maintaining Foster's as is in that footprint. We talked about with Fred's Diner leaving that we needed a cafe presence or a restaurant presence in Beach Haven because we lost some seating. That's being addressed. And even at the land use board, we talked about consistency with the master plan, and actually the master plan does even address variances from the zoning ordinance if it's financially viable for the developer. So I just can't see anything wrong with this project. I think I support it 100%.
Thank you,
Thank
John.
you. Would anybody else like to come forward, speak in the audience? Yeah, Sherry, you've checked, there's nobody on Zoom.
Mm-mm.
Nobody wants to come forward. If council has any questions at this point?
I just wanted to say, it's very nice to meet because, I kept hearing about this, potential deal and everything like that, but it was like, where is it, So it's nice to finally put a name and a face together. And as I had discussed with Emily ahead of time, I was a little concerned about moving forward with anything because one was kind of contingent upon the other. And, but we're still not exactly approving the buildings itself. We're approving the overlay in the site.
Correct.
Yes, thank you.
Anybody else on council want to say anything?
Mayor?
Okay. Yeah,
Mayor?
Mike. Yes.
What I'd like to just say is the controversy, Jamie, as you know, is the overdevelopment on the Brennan side. And as council knows, and maybe some of the residents know, that we were approached since I've been on council with another developer trying to develop a site with density and everything that most people have expressed they don't want in Beach Haven. So my suggestion as council moves forward is to turn down a project immediately instead of leading the developer into the position that we did with this developer now, because it becomes difficult after that. And so I think council did the right move with the last inquiry that came through. I think all of us said, we don't want this, and I haven't seen that developer come back. So as we move forward, if that's what the plan is, to stop this dense development along Bay Avenue and other places in town, then put a hammer to it early on in the stage, right? I think what we've done here is the best for everybody under the circumstances.
Thank you.
Thank
Anybody, the last call for public comments. So I'll close the floor and it's now time to vote. Do we have a motion to approve ordinance 28?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second,
Thank you.
Mr. Batista,
yes.
Mrs. Ball Miller,
Like I said at previous meetings, I really don't understand why Mr. Pagnotta wouldn't just sell to the potential buyers anyway. I don't really think that giving away extreme density so a developer sells his property a certain way, it just, it doesn't sit right with me. And the density on Brennan's, you have 4 residential units at 1,800 square feet apiece with the height and the density and the parking and the buffers and the loading zones, I think it's taking a step backwards, so I'm voting no.
Ms. Lambert,
Jamie's not wrong. I'm going to vote yes.
Ms. Snyder,
Yes.
Mayor Davis.
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-30C, an ordinance amending Chapter 141, Peace and Good Order of the Borough Code of the Borough of Beach Haven, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, to regulate the use of advertising flags within the Borough of Beach Haven and to clarify the application of Chapter 137 to the use of tables and chairs for outdoor dining. This ordinance also amends the zoning code pertaining to flags. Final reading.
This is final reading, so we're opening it to the public. Would anybody like to speak to this ordinance?
I have a question based on the survey we got from the Beach Haven Chamber of Commerce. Unless I misread that, the merchants have an issue with this, correct?
I think there were 30 businesses that thought we should
Responded.
leave it.
Yeah, I think it was like 3-1 that wanted to keep the flag, something like that, or
And I think one of the
Two
other
to one.
results was that there were 15 businesses that used them.
Mhm.
Just 15.
Mhm.
I think there are 50 respondents. 50?
Yeah.
Around 50.
Anybody in the public would like to speak to this ordinance? Anybody on Zoom? No?
We don't see any hands up.
No, so I'll close the floor to public comment. So do I have a motion to approve ordinance 30C?
I move we approve 30C.
Thank you.
Is there a second?
I'll
I'll-
second it.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Batista,
Yes.
Mrs. Ball Miller,
Yes.
Ms. Lambert,
Yes.
Ms. Snyder,
Yes.
Mayor Davis.
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-31 is the 2023 salary ordinance, which establishes the salary ranges for municipal employees. Final reading.
Again, we can open this to the public right now. If anybody'd like to speak to this particular salary ordinance, please come forward. Anybody? Anybody on Zoom? Nope. All right. Do I have a motion to approve 2023-31?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Batista,
Yes.
Mrs. Ball Miller,
Yes.
Ms. Lambert,
Yes.
Ms. Snyder,
Yes.
Mayor Davis.
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-32, bond ordinance authorizing various capital improvements and acquisitions in and for the Borough of Beach Haven in the County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, appropriating 1,770,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of 1,286,000 bonds or notes to finance part of the cost thereof. Final reading.
We've talked about this for a long time. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to come forward and speak to this? Is there anybody on Zoom? All right, do I have a motion to approve 2023-32?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Batista.
One comment on this, as everybody knows, I am not in favor of, at this time, of the roll-off truck and would have preferred that money to be allocated to the parks. What we're doing here tonight is approving the funding. I would ask that council take a very close look at the cost savings that was suggested we're going to see as a result of this. I did not want to burden our finance department over the last 30 days. They've been working hard to get the sewer bills out, merging the databases with the water. But it's an easy exercise to see. There are a lot of issues with trucks of this size, the maintenance, the actual depreciation costs and things of that nature. And so I have not been convinced since the beginning that this is going to be a cost saving issue. And I'm still not convinced at this time, but I'm not going to hold this ordinance up. I would just ask council, as you move forward, for someone to take a closer look at this roll-off truck. My vote is yes.
Thank you.
Mrs. Ball Miller.
Yes.
Ms. Lambert.
Yes.
Ms. Snyder.
Yes.
Mayor Davis.
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-33, bond ordinance authorizing various sewer system improvements by the sewer utility in and for the borough of Beach Haven in the county of Ocean, state of New Jersey, appropriating 1,089,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of 1,089,000 bonds or notes to finance part of the cost thereof. Final reading.
Do we have a motion? Oh, final reading, sorry. This is open to the public. If anybody would like to come forth and talk. Anybody? Anybody on Zoom? No? So do I have a motion to approve 2023-33?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Batista.
So I have a couple of comments on both 33 and 34. Obviously, the approval of the money being spent, we really need to pursue our attempts to get grant money from the Deficit Reduction Act from 2022. The money is out there. It's being controlled by the NJDEP Bank. There is a finite amount of money, but there is a lot of money there. The towns that ask for the money have a chance of getting real money. Not only that, half of it would be a grant. Certainly $1 million is easily a target. Half of the other half would be forgiven interest. And then the quarter would be at a federally supported low interest rate. So council should absolutely be pursuing this as you move into 2024. And those are my comments on these two ordinances.
I agree with you, and I think
Yeah.
we'll make sure to do that.
So I need a nay or an A for you, Mike.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Mrs. Ball Miller.
Yes.
Ms. Lambert.
Yes.
Ms. Snyder.
Yes.
Mayor Davis.
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-34, bond ordinance authorizing various water system improvements by the water utility in and for the borough of Beach Haven in the county of Ocean, state of New Jersey, appropriating 484,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of 484,000 bonds or notes to finance part of the cost thereof. Final reading. And if council could make their comments prior to putting a motion on the table, that'd be great. Thank you.
I'll make one comment. I think it's important for people to realize that well, there's so much that needs to be done in our infrastructure, and we tend to forget about those sorts of things because we don't see them. And as long as we turn the tap and the water comes out and it's clean, we're happy. Our toilets flush, we're happy. But there's a lot that needs to be done to make sure that this keeps happening. And when I first got on council, which was in 2010, we had a lot of problems with the infrastructure. Nobody had done much about it. And we've been cracking away at it, working on it, trying to replace different laterals throughout town, assessing which needed to be done. And we're now doing that with the sewer authority, as we just passed that last bill. We need to do that with the water authority as well. So we don't see this sort of thing, but it really needs to be done. And I think it's very important. Anybody else in council have any comments before? So does anybody in the public, I'm opening the floor to the public, have a comment on this? Zoom, no? Okay, do I have a motion to approve 34?
Mayor, if I can, just, I'll make a
Okay.
comment on this. The
Sure.
issue here that we're dealing with, our reservoir, our tower, and our water mains. The $484,000 is a drop of water in the bucket of what it's gonna cost for these projects. We really need to get a long-term understanding, and really not that long-term, 5 years, of what the true cost is going to be to refurb our reservoir, our tower, and our water mains. I know that Frank has suggested a maintenance program with a company that will take over control of all of this. This all needs to be studied very carefully. And again, the total amount of money and how we're going to allocate it over the next 5 to 10 years, this is not the way to do it by just taking $485,000 and say, okay, let's start the project. So I'm going to agree to this because I want to see all this move forward, but council really has to spend some time to understand what the true cost of bringing this system up to current standards. Thank you.
I agree with you. Thank you. Any other comments by council before we have a motion? No? Okay, is there a motion to approve 34?
I'll make a motion. Second.
Mr. Batista,
Yes.
Mrs. Ball Miller,
Yes.
Ms. Lambert,
Yes.
Ms. Snyder,
Yes.
Mayor Davis.
Yes.
All matters listed under item consent agenda are considered to be routine by the municipal council and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. Any items requiring expenditure supported by a certification of availability of funds and any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda and discussed separately. All consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes. Resolution 202, authorizing a refund of special events overpayment. 203, returning dumpster bonds. 208, returning piling bonds. 210 is supporting the Ocean County Meals on Wheels program. 211, consenting to the issuance of the 2024 amusement license for Mr. T's. 212, requesting that the State Department of Banking and Insurance reject all automotive rate hike requests and freeze rates for the next 18 months. 213 is the certification of our annual audit. 214 is authorizing application for a grant from the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs for the fiscal year 2024 American Rescue Plan Firefighters Grant. 215 is creating a firefighter certification program within the Beach Haven Volunteer Fire Company number 1. 216, authorizing a shared service agreement between the Borough of Beach Haven and the Township of Long Beach for a phase 2 of legal services. 218 is the salary resolution for 2023, and we added a budget transfer resolution at the CFO's request, resolution 219.
Would anybody like to remove any of these for further discussion?
Can we just have some qualification on 218? I don't know what that is.
Every year, every municipality is required to adopt a salary ordinance that establishes the ranges, low and high, for every position in the borough. We have just completed that. The next step, every municipality must adopt a resolution stating the exact salaries of every position in the borough for 2023. So we do the ordinance first, and it's followed by the resolution.
Okay, thank
required.
you. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Is there a second?
Second. Mr. Batista,
Yes,
Mrs. Ball Miller,
Yes.
Ms. Lambert,
Yes.
Ms. Snyder,
Yes.
Mayor Davis.
Yes,
I have a bill list this evening in the amount of $1,190,282.76.
any comments on the bills?
It's always a lot.
Is there a motion to approve the bills?
So moved.
Thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
You, Mr. Batista,
yes,
Mrs. Ball Miller,
Yes.
Ms. Lambert.
Yes.
Ms. Snyder,
Yes.
Mayor Davis.
Yes.
One item under general discussion tonight, we'll ask Shari Bullard to come forward and give a brief synopsis of this year's best practices inventory discussion. One part of the best practices inventory questionnaire is that we hold this meeting and have this discussion about it.
Okay.
I will make it quick. Thank you very much, by the way, for your words. I did not expect that. That meant a lot. And my dad's, one of his favorite places to be was LBI and Beach Haven. And he was very proud of my work here. And after my parents sold their house, you know, he was very happy because he still had a home here in Beach Haven to come to. So thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yes, of course.
Every year, the DCA requires us to complete this questionnaire, best practices. We have all of our statutes that we have to follow. And then they put out the secondary list of things that are not necessarily required, but they are considered to be best practice. A lot of the questions are repeat every year, but every year they also add new questions every year, things that, you know, we need to stay on top of. The inventory basically assesses the municipality's compliance with various laws and evaluates our implementation of fiscal and operational best practices. It also provides taxpayers with an additional means of evaluating our performance, including how our tax dollars are utilized. The inventory can identify areas where municipalities may require further technical assistance. The state is also, every year, they keep growing their list. They have a list of unscored questions that they're just trying to gather data from every municipality and see what our practices are. This year, there were 67 questions amongst 3 categories. The categories are core competencies, which basically address our statutory and regulatory compliance and other areas critical to sound municipal finance and operations. There were 36 questions here, each were 1 point. Examples are personnel, laws, budget statutory deadlines, financial administration, capital projects, transparency, procurement. The next category was best practice. There were 12 questions. They're each valued at half a point. This involves fiscal and operational practices that are a benefit to many municipalities, but may not apply to everyone. In examples are, you know, do we have a trust for accumulated absence and emergency, social media policies, procurement on health insurance, personnel, environment, you know, electrical vehicle charging stations was a new topic recently. And then they have an unscored survey, 18 questions, just really meant to gather information required to complete it, but it doesn't count towards our scoring. Questions relating to shared service, environmental issues, grace periods for tax collection, lead remediation was a big one this year. So the total questionnaire was a total of 48 questions, a total of 42 points. The
the reason they do this is because you need a certain number of points to qualify for the state aid that we receive every year. We receive about 225,000 in state aid. You need to score a minimum of 29 points to not have any of that aid jeopardized. We scored 37 points, so there's really no issue. If you would like a copy or to read through the list of questions, you are more than welcome. I will provide a copy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sherry, in the past, I think we all got copies ahead of time and had to go through it all and blah, blah, blah. But you've saved us a lot of time.
You're welcome. It is lengthy.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Sherry. Thank you.
We always passed. Thank you. All right, so now we're down to public comments. So I'm opening the floor for public comments in which you can speak about anything you want. So does anybody want to get up and speak? We'll look at Zoom as well. Does anybody in the audience here want to get up and speak? No? Anybody on Zoom? No? My goodness.
Wow.
I'm closing the floor to public comments. So we're whipping right through this agenda. So we have final remarks by council. I'll start with Kitty Snyder.
Thank you all for coming tonight. I just wanted to say a few things. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to attend the ceremony in Veterans Park on Saturday honoring our veterans. Thank you to Colleen for speaking on our behalf. To all of our veterans, just want to say thank you for your service. My father served as a Marine in World War II. He was in the Battle of Peleliu in the South Pacific. And he always said that other than his children, he was most proud of being a Marine. And he really and truly was. I'm also so very sorry about the loss of the tragic loss of Eugene and his wife. My condolences go out to their family, of course, but also to all of our business owners who I know loved him very much. And I'm sorry for all of you. It's a tremendous loss. On another note, I want to congratulate Mike McCaffrey and welcome him to council. Sure, he'll do a great job. And I personally have really high hopes for you, and I look forward to working with you. I also want to congratulate Paul Sharkey, I see tonight, for taking another year as a school board member representative for Beach Haven. We are well represented by you, I'm sure, I know. Also to Jeb Harkness and Jean Fraser for winning their elections. I want to take this time to thank Michael Batista for stepping in these last months. I should say jumping in for these last 10 and a half months. Michael jumped in with both feet, worked very hard to get a lot of things done. I mean, a lot of things. I think he inspired all of us. I mean, I'm new, but I think he inspired all of us to work a little bit harder to get things taken care of. He has a level of expertise that this town will miss, whether you realize it or not. And I'd like to say thank you. Thank you very much, Michael.
Thanks.
It's very, very nice of you. We'll miss you.
Is that it?
Mhm.
Colleen, you want to-
Thank you. I'm going to kind of have to echo a lot of what Kitty said, but do want to offer our condolences to the Bowler family and to the Mulgrews. I didn't know Gene Mulgrew, but I heard very, very nice things. Sounded like quite a gentleman. So his wife sounded like a very nice person as well, which is very sad. I do want to congratulate Mike McCaffrey on being elected and looking forward to working with you, Mike. Paul, congratulations since you're here as well. You've represented us so far, and we know you'll continue to do a good job. I also wanted to congratulate Julia Carano, who was named Miss New Jersey Teen USA. She did our community proud, and they had a little reception for her the other day, which was very nice. And other than that, I just want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody and enjoy the season. Thank you.
Jamie?
I just have one announcement to make about the business district guidelines. They've been a long time coming. We worked with Jeff Skolkoff. He's an architect and a planning consultant, and we've been working through these guidelines over a year with the goal was to develop and enhance the character of the downtown, provide greater architectural continuity and cohesiveness, encourage a commercially vibrant core in the district, maintaining human scale, density, massing existing height limits to continue to help develop an attractive, high-quality coastal residential resort community. That's just a couple of excerpts from the goals on these guidelines. They're available on the Beach Haven website. So I hope that everyone takes the time to look through them. They are very cohesive. If you have any comments or anything you would like to tell me about, my email is right underneath them. I'm always open to suggestions. This is the 5th draft. This is actually like the draft that I'd presenting to the public. We've worked tirelessly on these guidelines. So this is the 5th draft. It is a working draft. So please send me your comments. And again, the purpose of these guidelines was really for the Architectural Advisory Committee to use them as a guide. So we have, a group of professionals, but they really needed a guidebook to use. So that was the whole reason behind the guidelines, so they could use them for any potential developers or anyone just looking to, upgrade their business and keeping our commercial district that unique character and charm that it has. And we would love for it to continue have in the future. So please send me your comments on that and I will get that together and then hopefully present the final draft, not a draft, the final copy, and then we can use that forever, in the future.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you all.
Michael.
A couple of things, the pumps, the electric and the pumps are on. They're not running right now. The Pearl Street pump has a controller that's bad, an electronic controller, and the 2 other pumps are missing floats. So they don't want to run them. They've started them all, but they're not all up online. And Public Works is doing a great job. Chris is doing a wonderful job. He's got enough to do just managing what's going on. When these new systems come online, it's really up to council to find a way to push these things along or just wait for them to happen. But I'm going to stay on top of this here for the next period of time here, and hopefully we can get those issues resolved. It's kind of silly that the contractor doesn't want to come down to install the floats because he doesn't have the control for the Pearl Street pump, but we'll push this along and see if we can get that on. I want to say also on the when I first got on council here, the issue of the holiday snack bar was a huge hot topic here in town. And I listened to the owners of the holiday snack bar, particularly how much they were reaching out to council to please help them and to get this thing resolved and stop the bickering and this, that, and the other thing. And as council know, I asked them if I could step into this and see if we could work out some kind of a settlement here. We've worked tirelessly on trying to resolve this with the holiday snack bar. Let's not forget a couple things. This is a non-conforming lot. The property is the building is non-conforming on the lot, and the use is not permitted in the zone. So there are a lot of things going on here. We have presented a very fair and reasonable settlement to the owners of the holiday snack bar. And we've given them an open road to get more down the line as they need to add to or modify their business. So for anybody that's listening here, discount anything that might be you might be hearing on social media. It's just not true. Okay, this council has done a tremendous amount to try to resolve this matter, and as we move forward. Everybody has to be accountable for following the rules and regulations. And so the owners of the holiday snack bar are going to have to be responsible for that. And in the end, it probably will go to the decision of the land use board on how they want to handle it. But as it stands for now, we're waiting for a response from the holiday snack bar. And at the same time, we're pursuing the enforcement that we have our authority to do. The sewer laterals, as we move forward with trying to find the best solution for the new sewer utility. I do believe, and I hope council follows through with the fact that the borough should take over these sewer laterals as soon as possible and relieve the residents of Beach Haven from having to deal with digging up the street and the huge expense in an emergency situation when we have the staff and the equipment here in town right now to do the jobs. And that's it. Congratulations, Mike. That was a great win for you. And I look forward to helping out the town wherever I can, whenever I can. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. My comments will be very short. I would like to just say ditto to everything everybody said. I don't want to reiterate it, but Mike, welcome to the board very soon. And we all look forward to working with you. And Mike Batista, thank you for all your guidance and leadership and getting a lot done in this short period of time you were on the board. I think we've made some great progress, and I hope I can call you and ask for advice every once in a while. Your comments tonight regarding some of these resolutions and ordinances were helpful, and I think we will definitely look carefully at how we spend our money when it comes to the bond ordinances. So thank you very much. And everybody have a great Thanksgiving. It's come up awful fast. So on that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Colleen. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.